Hi everyone, today I am making a delicious pot of collard greens. Like to see how I do it? Here we go. I'm using a pack of smoked ham hocks, about 2.5 pounds in this packet. I am going to wash each one of them, just run them under some cold water and rub them with my hands. And then I'm going to toss them in my large stock pot. Okay, now I am covering them completely with cold water. And then I am going to put this pot on the stove and then bring it to a boil. And once I get that pot to a boil, y'all, I am going to cover it and let it cook until my ham hocks become tender. Now, while they are cooking, I am going to I have 8 bunches of these lovely collard greens right here. And all I'm going to do is just go straight down the stem, pull off each side, and stack it into a nice pile. And then once I get my pile, piled enough, y'all, I'm just going to roll them all together. Once I get a nice little pile, I'm going to roll them all together and then cut them in about a 1/2-inch strips. Then once I get my greens cut, off to the sink they go, y'all. I am washing them in some cold water that I've added about a 1/4 cup of vinegar to. And I am just going to go back and forth from one side to the sink to the other side of the sink until I get these babies squeaky clean, y'all. And I mean squeaky clean. That's what it takes, because these collard greens right here, as lovely as they are, were definitely dirty, muddy, and grimy, so you want to get those clean. Now back to my ham hocks, y'all. They've been cooking for about a couple of hours over like medium-low heat, y'all. That's what I have my temperature set to. And here they are tender, fork tender, right about ready to not quite fall off the bone yet, y'all, but they are tender enough. Now here I am removing about 3 cups of the liquid. And once I get that liquid move, y'all, I am ready to start working on my pot liquor, because it's in that pot liquor. And for my seasoning, that's a tablespoon of kosher salt, a teaspoon of coarse black pepper, a teaspoon of red pepper flakes, 2 tablespoons of sugar, 4 garlic cloves chopped, y'all. And then I'm going to be adding also 3 capfuls of apple cider vinegar going into the pot. Then last but not least, y'all, I gotta have that tablespoon, 1 heaping tablespoon of, yes, bacon fat going right there into the pot. And then what I do is I kind of swish my seasoning around a bit. And then I'm going to give it another little test, y'all, because this is the start of some delicious pot liquor here. And y'all, I decided after that taste to go ahead and add a little bit more, all the sugar. So that's about a total of 2 tablespoons of sugar that's going into the pot, this first layer of my seasoning. Now coming up, y'all, I am ready to add those greens. And I'm just going to keep adding them to the pot and letting them cook down. And as they start to cook down, I'm just going to keep piling them on and squishing them in like you see here with the fork. And I'm just going to keep doing it till all my greens get into that pot. And then once I get those greens into the pot, y'all, and they cook down enough for me to gauge that liquid you see here, how much liquid I have left in the pot, then I am going to cover this pot, y'all. And then I am going to let these cook like on a medium low for about an hour. Yep, I am. Okay, cover the pot. And then after that hour, this is what my greens are looking like. They cook completely down, y'all. And you can kind of start to see how the ham hocks are starting to fall off the bones, y'all. And at this point, I'm not pulling out any bones, y'all. I'm just going to let them cook right on through. Now I'm giving it another taste test of that pot liquor, because this is where I'm going to do my second layer of seasoning, and I'm just putting in the very same seasonings, a little less. That's 2 teaspoons of kosher salt, a little bit more of that sugar, about a teaspoon going in, y'all. At this point, about a half teaspoon of the black pepper, and then a half teaspoon of the red pepper flakes. And then coming up 1 teaspoon of the vinegar. And that brings my total vinegar to 4 capfuls. And then once I get that layer of seasoning, y'all, I am going to let this continue to cook for about 30 minutes. And as they cook, y'all, I'm going in and out that pot almost like every 15 minutes, gauging the tenderness as well as that pot liquor, y'all. I am absolutely adjusting the flavor as I go, little by little. See me do my dip, I'm checking it out. And y'all, this is close to the last stretch. Another dip, seeing where their pot liquor is, as well as gauging the liquid in the pot. And let me see, I think it is on point at this point. Now, this is the absolute last round, y'all. This pot is almost done, and I'm just adding a tad bit more salt. And then a tad bit more pepper flakes right now, I believe, for the garnish. And then, y'all, at this last stretch, what I'm checking for now, because the pot liquor is on point, and I am just checking for tenderness, y'all. Tenderness. And I believe these are absolutely where I want them to be. I can kind of turn that pot off, y'all. Let me see. I may have thrown in a pinch more of salt. See? A pinch more salt. And then, yes, absolutely more red pepper flakes for garnish, y'all. And y'all, I'm telling you, these are about ready. Now, they are ready, y'all. Now, these are hot, and I've already been in this pot, y'all, but I am tasting these delicious greens right here just for y'all. I'm telling you, when your greens, when you can eat them greens all by themselves just like that, I'm telling you, the absolute, and that pot liquor, let's see. It is gone now, y'all. Thanks for watching. Till next time, y'all. Bye-bye.